All right, it's time for the Zoom. This is for Monday, October the, what is it, 26th? October 26th. So now we are going to Zoom tonight. If you're watching this before tonight, we're going to Zoom tonight as usual for virtual. Okay, but here's what happened. Let me share the screen. And here's what happened today. It was a good day, good Monday. Kids worked hard. Nasty weather. Tomorrow, as you know, is a snow day. And they were saying, well, virtual kids still have to go, which is false. If it's a snow day, there is to be no instruction occurring. Doesn't mean that you can't still ask questions, still work on homework, but why is it not? Hold on. It's not showing. Just a minute. Let's try it again. Sharing is paused. Okay, hold on. Try the share again. Having trouble sharing. Okay, with the cable. Yeah. Share. All right, so there we go. Sorry. It's class rules. So here we are, Monday the 26th. Announcements first. The trifecta, which really virtual kids don't have a say in, although they could, I suppose. We bet, quote, bet. It's bet, but the house always ends up winning, you being the house. So we bet on Norman High games. There's a whole system. You don't need to worry about it. The point is that it's going to help you. By the time this is a Christmas present I give everyone, actually on Christmas morning, you'll wake up and in your stocking there'll be some points from all these trifectas we've done. Average is about 30. Don't count on it. So it's gone as low as 24 and it's gotten as high as 38, but average over the years, about 30 points per semester that you pull in. This is just it just gives us a chance to talk about what's going on athletically and academically at Norman High. Like, is the academic team, are they in competition, or the robotics team, or is cross country or swimming or football or whatever's going on. So we bet Norman High first, and then we bet colleges sometimes, and occasionally we bet pro, like Thunder, or, if a good pro game on. So that's called trifecta. And it's a trifecta plus there's a doubler. So what you got to remember is that your classmates got you 6 points already. They got 6 points this week, and that is points that you can add anywhere you want. Now, this is the list of students that didn't make it in on Thursday, or virtual kids that did not come in on Thursday or Friday to take the test. Sometimes you're out of town, you're sick, whatever the reason is. Lizzie came in today and took it, so that's good. I've talked to some of you about it. I know Victor's getting ready to come in. We've already arranged something. Jeremy, we've arranged something. But the rest of you, we need to get this in IO. I'm talking to him about it. He's trying to get in there. But the rest, I think Bennett, maybe he's in Colorado still. I think he's back by now. Anyway, so the rest, it was due, the final day to do a makeup was Wednesday, but because tomorrow's a snow day, I moved it back to Thursday. But after Thursday this week, it goes to a 0 unless you got a really good reason. But I'll be emailing you and getting with you somehow, finding out what the heck's going on to get everybody to take this test. Otherwise, you don't want a 0. So get in here, talk to me. Remember my number. At this point, you probably need to text me because now it's starting to get serious. And so text me at this number to let's get this thing worked out. Let's find a time that you can take it. either in my room at lunch, say. When, I'll give you the back room, which is got air blowing in it. There's nobody else in there. You're isolated. There's tons of air blowing through it, so it's very ventilated. Or you could come sit in your car if you want. It's too cold to sit, So you can stop by the house, get it, something, and then take an hour, sit on my driveway and take it, and then bring it back to me. It's really hard to do virtual paper and pencil tests. I admit that. I think with Packet 2, we're going to try something different. I'm still working on it. It'll be paper and pencil for in-class kids, but for virtual kids, there'll be some kind of electronic, because this is just nuts. All right, but hey, I'm doing it and we're sticking with it. We're gonna do that paper pencil test. I don't know about the final yet, but I know test 2 for virtual kids certainly will be electronic. So this is this week. I've already changed about 10 minutes ago when I added the snow day. So this is this last week in October. For tonight, we are doing the Zoom with the virtual kids. We'll talk about this week. Talk about logistics. You can ask your questions. Snow Bear is tomorrow. That's snow day. Makeup day. Last day now is Thursday. And I just changed again because I moved this to Friday. So this calendar, and it's always the first thing you see on the homepage, just expect it to change. I'll try not to make big changes. I mean, far ahead, yes, but if it's this week, I try not to make any big changes unless we get messed around with the snow day. All right, so that's this week. November. So here's this. You're the first one to see this. The one I showed in class is already out of date. I changed it. I thought about doing a mega Packet 2 because Packet 1, the testing and the packets and all the papers, and it just got to be, it was fine for in-class kids, but for virtual kids, it's just a mess. And so I don't want to repeat that mess again. Well, then I finally decided to go ahead and do that as a virtual, as electronic test somehow. I said, well, okay, in that case, let's go ahead and we'll wrap up Packet 2 on the 19th of November. So that's 1, 2, 3, about 3.5 weeks we have left in Packet 2. And then we do a feast and film. Now that's what they're doing. I think when the class, and we could talk about this tonight, but I think I jumped way ahead over to here. You can read this other stuff, but I'm concentrating on this. But I think when the class takes that test on the 19th, then you guys can chill. But then on the 20th, when the class is doing feast and film, that's kind of our celebration for the end of the packet. That'll be the day for virtual kids to take the test online. You'll have all day, I suppose, or maybe a 3-hour window there or something, maybe all day. Starting in the afternoon. How about starting at 1 p.m. or so? I'm just guessing here. I'm spitballing this. Starting at say 2 p.m. and going till 10 p.m. I'll give you an hour. It'll be timed, but we'll think about that later. So usual, you're going to have we have our usual Zoom sessions on Monday nights. There'll be the take-home test 2. It's not passed out until the 8th of November, or the PDF of it's available for you virtual kids. I'll hand out a paper copy on the 9th to kids in class. 1 page, front and back, same thing. And then we'll do the usual help session. This is the way it is right now. I may adjust this. All right, but you can look at that. It's on the home page of the Canvas. And December, I got to change it on Facebook. I just realized it's all wrong there. I may not put a calendar on Facebook because now I got to change 2 things. Yeah, I'll probably take that calendar off Facebook. Yeah. Anyway, December then would be a short packet. I think, I got to add that. I think we'll start Packet 3 like right here. We'll start Packet 3 right here on the 18th of November because I want to I don't want to have packet 2 go all the way up to the test. So we'll start it either here or here. We'll start packet 3, and then it'll go mostly in December. Okay. As you can see, I'm still formulating this in my head. And with virtual days, with all the beds filling up the ICUs in Oklahoma, it may be totally different. Okay. All right, but this is my best guess as of today. Now on the modules, in packet 2 module, I've updated this and tried to make it a little more clear for assignments. If it says assignment on there, then you know you got to submit it. So 2.1, that was due last night. You can still submit it tonight up until midnight and just lose a point. You still get a 19 out of 20. So 21, you still lose a point. And then the next 3 are just papers, and those you'll hand in right before Thanksgiving with the packet 2 test. So they are assignments, but if I make it an assignment, then it gets on your to-do list and blah, blah, blah. So it gets confusing for students. So then the assignment, the next one is 2.5, and that one, I had it down as October 29th, but I think I changed that to, yeah, I did. I changed that to October 30th. So I'm going to have to make sure I do that tonight. Okay, that got pushed back because of snow day. All right. When we do our Zoom tonight, the Zoom password is now ASCII Zoom 2. So I know there'll be somebody who will get up there and get upset because they're trying to put in ASCII Zoom. It's not working. It's on the, I'm not going to email you out an invitation every time, but I put it on the announcements. I put it in Facebook. I put it, you got your job is to go, if you're virtual, it's more work on your part because you've got to go seek out information. You can't just sit there in your chair and then have me tell you everything. So that's the problem with virtual, is that you got to take a much bigger role in your education. So anywho, there it is. I'm telling you now, ASCII Zoom 2, and that'll be true up until Thanksgiving. And I think then for packet 3, we'll call it ASCII Zoom 3. All right. But for now, it's ASCII Zoom 2. This really doesn't apply to you because you're not in my classroom, but you can do, this is packet in the Facebook. This is Unit 8, and Unit 8 is for student projects and research. So perhaps that would work for virtual kids. You guys could do a project together or by yourself or online, and the project's fairly open there. And these are points. I used to make them, they had to do something every semester, and it was like 200 points. But this semester, I'm saying no to that. So it's just right now, they're still optional. Like you can do Arduino projects, or you can, you'd have to film stuff. But here's one that I'm offering. I'm reading this book on consciousness being the ultimate. And so it's a line I got out of the book, which has been running around my head now for about 3 or 4 days. So I said, I want that on my wall. So I'm going to have some student in class paint that. But there are other, you can propose some research and then we'll kick it back and forth. And like for this project, for this project, that's worth 75 points, up to 75 points. And these are actual points. So if I have an artist in class who's kind of behind and they're looking for to get caught up, that would help. We had our Joke Monday. This was the old classic Jim Gaffigan. And those are always every Monday. It's the only thing I guarantee, the first day of each week, we will have a joke quote Monday. Sorry, virtual kids, it's something I cannot provide. I suppose I could give you the link. So perhaps I'll give you the link in the screenshot area or something. Actually, I can't give you that link because that's from Apple TV and the link wouldn't work. Okay, so last time we discussed, this is back on Wednesday. I think you saw this on Friday, but I had the wrap up on Friday, but on Wednesday, we did the area graph for, this is the back of 2.3, and you're still supposed to have your story there. but we did the area graphs, positive area in green, negative area in purple. And accumulation of the area here is actually position, because this is velocity, meters per second, and that's times time. And delta, so delta x equals v times t. So yeah, so the area, and the other reason is units, because the height here, let's blow this up here a little bit. The height here is in meters per second here, and the length, or the base, is in seconds. So meters per second times seconds gives me meters. So it's a weird case where area equals length. Try that one on your math teacher. Teacher, when does area equal length? And he or she might not know, and then you could throw some physics at them. It's when you're doing the area graphs or doing integrals. Okay, your calculus teacher probably get it. And then last time on the wrap up, we did these two. This is from the wrap up from last time. And that's doing derivative graphs, slope graphs. Now, with the lab we're doing on Wednesday, hopefully, unless they call it again on Wednesday, with the lab we're doing Wednesday in the hallway, that is one of the top 10, some say the #1 experiment of all time, by Galileo in 1605. So that will change all of this. That'll switch us from red to orange. Okay, so today's physics, the bottom of 2.4, we did this one together, okay, and then we did this one. They went to the board on this one. So let me take that off. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and do this one together on the left. So get your colored pencils out. You need 2 colored pencils. So I'll just kind of work through this one with you. And I could do it, pause it, and then come back and show you the answer, but you know, it doesn't help much just to see an answer. You should think about it, pause if you want to, but I'll be talking my way through it. I know it takes more time, and I apologize. You may have noticed these wrap-up videos went from about 20 minutes to about 50 minutes, but that's because I am now trying to teach on these rather than just surmise what happened. Okay, so the first thing we do is we color it in, and I noticed one of my students was still doing this when she came to me with a question, and I noticed she colored that in. No. I mean, she's a really good student. She's just trying to learn this stuff. But this is not area. These are the stalactites and stalagmites, right? So you don't go from the bottom up. Everything comes from the x-axis, or the break between forwards and backwards. Okay, so now we need to go through just the process here. This will be a big part of the test right before Thanksgiving, so it ain't going to go away, I'll tell you that. This idea that this concept you're learning, it won't go away. It's kind of like, things we talk about, I think, oh, thank goodness that gold standard's over. No, it returns. Thank goodness I don't have to worry about metrics. Whoops. Nope. You still got to know them. So we keep going back and repeating them. If it's something we could take and toss, I probably wouldn't even teach it, if it's not worth repeating over and over again. Okay, so I'm carving out some space here. And this one, the area here, it's 2 meters per second times 8 seconds. So this is 16. I'm going to be extra careful I don't make a mistake. Sophia's going to catch me on that, which I appreciate, by the way. 7, and then the next one is 7 meters a second for 4 seconds. So that's 28 meters. And the next one is, whoa, Pepper woke up. Uh-oh, look at that. I don't know if you can see me. You can't see me, can you? There's Pepper. Probably can't see me. All you can see is the screen. Oh, well. She's been sleeping really good in front of the heater. And the next one is we go -2 meters a second for that's 1 to 7 seconds. So that's negative 14 meters, okay? So we went backwards. Now we go directly from there. Don't try and go to the graph yet up top. You have to go to the T-chart first. Otherwise, you don't know how to set that graph up. So 0, 0, yes, that makes sense. 8 seconds. Let's make this seconds and this meters. As long as you put it on the top of the column, you don't need to keep writing it out. So at 8, where it looks like our big breaks are going to come at 8, 12, and 19. And so at 8 seconds, we've gone forward, so we're at 16 meters. But remember, this graph shows accumulation, a big accumulation arrow. This shows accumulation of position. Let me carve that out. I'm just doing what I do in class. They sit and watch me do all this, and they do it. They're supposed to do it themselves. You should be doing this yourself. If this were a finance class and we were doing derivatives, they do what's called business calc. And so they would do, this would be accumulation of wealth through time. Like each one of these would be a day or a week. And so the point is, though, this is always accumulation. In our case, it's accumulation of position. But if it was wealth over a period of, say, 2 months, this would be your accumulation up top. This is your accumulation. And then this down here is would be dollars per day or dollars per week or whatever. Okay, back to this, though. So it's meters per second for us. All right. Now you can pass business calc. So the next one we accumulate. So now 28 plus 16 is 44. We put 44 meters there. And then we lose, now we're going backwards, so we lose 14 meters. So we end up at 30 meters. Okay. So now we come up here, and Pepper looks like she needs to go to the bathroom. So I am going to pause this for a second, and I'll be back. Pause. Okay, so Pepper, she will not pee in the snow. So anyway, here we go. So now I don't care about that graph down there anymore. I only care about this graph up here and the T-chart. So I just plot it as I would. Now for one, I'll go orange, I guess. I don't need a fourth quadrant, so that can be 0, 0. And then we have, I got to end up with 44. So if I go 20, you get, oh, someone suggested this in class today. That's a good idea. 15, 30, 45. All right, so plot our points, 0, 0. 8 over 16 up. Put this right. Each one of these is 3, yeah. So right there. And then we got 12 over and 44 up. 44 right there. And then 19 over and 30 up. Okay. All right, so all we got left to do is connect the dots. I don't want to see this little slop, okay? You need to actually, you're going to lose points on that because that's just slop. And no one's going to take you seriously. So we get a ruler out and connect it up. So we go fast, or we go a speed, and we speed up, and then we turn. We don't. Yeah, we start to back up. We don't get into the negative range, but this is, I guess you could say, backing up or going driving the other direction. So I'm going to reverse for a little while. All right, so that's the one we're going to work together. Now this one over here, I want you now to do on your own. So this is where I sent them up to the board. When they go to the board, they we're having to socially distance, and so they can't work too close together. Wear their masks, of course, but they do talk to each other some. I mean, you can't. I just don't think it's possible to do physics if you don't talk about physics to somebody. That's what worries me about you virtual kids, because if you're just doing it on your own and you're in your bedroom there, you're studying on your table on your own. That's really hard to do. So Facebook's, it's a substitute, but at least there you can comment as soon as it's slow motion, but you can ask questions there and get responses, or you can work together. All right, so I'm going to pause it now because I want you to do this, try this on your own, this one over here. And then when I come back from the pause, it's going to be done. All right, so you need to pause it and try it to see if you can do it. Okay, let me pause recording here. All right, so I paused it here, kind of a halfway point. So I found the areas down there. Remember, it's stalactites and stalagmites. So you don't go from the bottom of the graph up. As we're going left to right, we're accumulating position. So I said it's accumulation of X, of how the position is changing. And so over here, then I'm showing the accumulation. It's accumulation chart. So 0, 0 is where I assume I start. You have to start. You always assume you start off there unless it tells you there is a initial position or an X naught. So I assume I start at 0, 0. In 10 seconds, I've dropped negative 30. In 20 seconds over here, I've added 70 to that. So now I'm at 40. In 30 seconds, I'm still at 40 because nothing's happened, haven't gone anywhere. And then at 38 seconds, I'm at 8. I've dropped 32. So I lost 40 minus 32 is 8. So now I just got to plot my points up here in the graph above, and I'll pause it and do that and come back. And so you go ahead and do that too. All right, so that's the graph I got up top. So see, notice if we go into the fourth quadrant, you need to distinguish on that graph really well where the boundary is between the first and fourth quadrant. Because we were going forwards, here we're going backwards. So looks like we went down, came back up, stayed there, and came back down again. I could have told you that by just looking at this graph. We'd go down at a certain slope, then we go real steep up, then we stay at that peak for a little while, plateau, then we come down a little bit more. So I could have already guesstimated what this graph would look like. All right, now we go to the back, and I went ahead and had them color all, because they need to practice their stalactites and stalagmites, because students are still doing, I'm walking around the room and I noticed that students are still doing this kind of thing when they're drawing in their areas. They're still coming from down here and doing that. I'm really trying to avoid seeing that on a test, because that is not correct. That is wrong. This is wrong. Okay? Can't do it that way. It's stalactites and stalagmites. All right? So they all emanate from the 0. We go, I don't know which way the 0 is. It's not marked. The 0 is the thicker horizontal line. That's the boundary between the first and fourth quadrant. Let me tell you what this back is all about. This is the finger dance. And it's expanded. It started off as a finger dance, and it's expanded over the years into real dancing. Students go out in the hallway, they do productions. It's like they do it together. And I show video of this, and maybe I'll share the screen on another screen and show you. Video doesn't work very well on Zoom. Anyway, I may try it. So at least show you some pictures of what I'm talking about. Now, this is something that you guys could do at home because the kids, we used to spend a whole hour doing this, but I'm trying to get further, and so we can't afford to give up an hour, and I'm already way behind this year. We're catching up some because we don't do tribe days anymore. There's a lot of things we're not doing. So it's helping, but I'm still way behind by probably 2 or 3 weeks. So every day I can catch up. It's good. So I can't take a day to do finger dancing in class. So finger dancing would be, you could film it. You could film yourself doing it. You could, virtual kids, that's all you could do is film yourself doing. And then you'd send me the video. You have this week to do that. I'll give you the weekend as well. So you have till Sunday to send me a film of you during the finger dance. So if you're virtual, let's make the virtual kids, let's have them be group. Let's give them a good one here. Virtual kids I'll make you guys group 7. That'll be the virtual. Okay. Well, I guess you can pick the one you want, but that's a decent one. And some of these are like too easy, and that one's not too hard, not too, well, it's difficult, but none of these are impossible. So first thing I want you to do, though, is what it says here. I want you to color in the area, the positive areas in the first quadrant. Those are the stalagmites. Color those in one color, and then pick another color and color in the fourth quadrant. So you turn this paper in, and by by Thanksgiving, I'll be looking for my colors here. All right, so I will color them. I'll color the left half of them, and then you do that. You color all of them. So I'm going to put it on pause. I'm going to color the left half, but then you color all the rest. Okay, you color both halves. So while I'm doing this, you should hit pause too. All right, back from pause. So I did the ones on the left, and you need to do both. You're doing the ones on the left and the ones on the right. So this is just practice with stalactites and stalagmites. Then the next thing you do is you pick your group, which is your table, which I made virtual to be group number 7. So you then take this data and you plot it here on this X versus T graph. And one thing I need to add to this for next year is this needs to have a T chart for T versus X. Okay, so looks like we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points along the line. So if we're doing virtual, that's group 7. And so we look at this, we go, okay, my main times here are 0. As far as time goes, now this, you have to read the top of the page, but this up here, every horizontal line is 2 centimeters per second, and every vertical line represents a second. So these are all 20-second graphs. Now, if you want to scale it up, like say you're doing a video where you're out in the front yard doing something, or you're driving your car or something, you could change those from a 20-second, horizontal axis. You can go to 40 seconds. You can double it. You can triple it. So it's 60 seconds. But everything you scale up on one axis, you have to scale up on the other. So it has to remain that 2 to 1, that 2 centimeters per second. So if I went instead of 20 seconds, I did 40 seconds. So I doubled everything. I'd have to make that 4 centimeters per second. Okay. So I probably keep it simple and just do it the way it's shown. But people like to go out in the hall and do stuff, and then they have to double up things. All right. So we go through here and do the old thing where you're finding the areas. I'm going to pause it again, but I'm just concentrating on group 7. So you find the areas. This is all part of the lab they're doing, this little activity, but you got to find areas. Then you got to, do the accumulation of position, and then you're showing it. Then you're actually dancing. Okay, so let me get that done. I'll pause this and we'll come back. You can do it too. So we're having to diagnose this graph here from the scale. I'm using the scale that's written there, just to keep it as simple as possible. So looking at time-wise, that then is pointing to the 4-second mark. Sorry. That is pointing to the 4-second mark. That's pointing to the 9-second mark right here. This is pointing to the 15-second mark, and this is a 20-second mark. And then looking at velocities, each one of these up the side is 2 centimeters per second. That makes that 4 centimeters per second. That makes this 14 centimeters per second. That makes that -4, okay, backwards. That makes that 2 centimeters per second, slow forward. And then that's it. So the next thing I'll do is figure out the areas of each one of these rectangles. So I'll pause it, you do the same thing, and then figure out those areas. All right, here's what I got for areas. And this is one that I don't do because I just randomly pick 7. So I I didn't do this today in class. We're a little ahead now where they were. They got started on this, but let me. I want to at least get this far, and then I'll show you a couple of pictures of what I want you to do, so you can work on this project if you want. Anyway, so this is 4 centimeters. Here we've got 4 centimeters per second for 4 seconds. We're looking at 16 centimeters. Then we have 14 centimeters per second for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 14. 5 times 10 is 50, so that's 66 centimeters positive. And then we go for 6 seconds, we do -4, well, that's -24. And then we go 5 seconds at 2, that makes it +10. Well, now I'm going to add these up. I'm going to accumulate these left to right. So we'll start at 0, 0, which is fine in this case. Now, some of these, you don't want to start at 0, 0 because you'll go off the graph. This is like the table's lava, and the you got to stay on the meter stick. This is all for a meter stick, which you go, hey, I don't have a meter stick at home. Well, you can make it. You can do feet if you want, and make it 10 feet or make it 2 feet. You can adjust the scale to what you have. All right. This is default. So it looks like the big times are 4 seconds, and these are seconds, and these are centimeters. So we have 4 seconds. Ours is a big time, 9 seconds, 15 seconds, and then 20 seconds. So those are my times. So it looks like in 4 seconds, I went 16 centimeters. And then I added 66 to that. So that's 76, 82, right? 82 centimeters. Yes. And then I subtracted 24 from that. So that's, if it was 22, it'd be 60. So 58 centimeters. I hope I can add and subtract in my head. And then we add 10 to that. So it's 68. So we end up at 68 centimeter mark. So I never went in the negative, and I never went above. You got to keep it between 0 and 100, and I did in all my positions. So now for group 7, you guys being virtual, you would come up here and you can keep it all in the first quadrant on your graph. So now on this green graph, now you plot your X. This is your X versus T. And we can leave it all in the first quadrant, so I can just put T down there. T, I know, goes 0 to 20 seconds. X, I guess I was going to pause it, but I guess we can just do it. Looks like we're going to go maybe to 100, so we're going to really squeeze this in. That's got to be, I don't know, let's keep it simple. Make that 50, make that 100. Okay. So we start at 0, 0. We go 4 over and 16 up. Everyone uses 10, so right to there. And then we go 9 over 82 up. Whoa. So way up here at 9, we're at 82. And then at 15, we're at 58. So that's right there. And then at 20, we're at 68. So we're up a little bit at the end. So that's right there. So this would look like this, and I'm not using a straight edge because I think I can draw a straight line that long. And then this back, and then this. So that's what my fingers are going to do. I'm going to start off walking forward, then I'm going to go faster, turn around immediately back, and then I'm going to go forward again a little bit at the end. Okay? So it's a challenging dance. If you're out in the hallway doing this, you got to run forward, then run faster, or walk forward, then run forward, then looks like you kind of walk, run, walk back, and then you turn around and go forward the other way. Okay, so now to show you what the heck I'm talking about, let me show you let me share another screen, and let me show you, let me show you, stop this sharing. Okay, I'm going to share another screen, just my desktop. Oh, should have had called up. Daggone it, I'm sorry. Okay, let's just share. I'm getting myself in trouble here. Let's share this, and then we'll switch it. Okay, so now switch it to photos. What? Okay, photos, finger dance. All right, sorry about this. So some pictures from previous years. This is last year, getting ready to do the Shelby there. This Pierce getting ready to do their finger dancing, and so you notice when they come up, they don't know which one's going to do it. So I roll the die here, and that 1, 2, or 3 would be one, and 4, 5, and 6 would be the other students. So no one knows. Then they have music set up a lot of times. They get extra points for that. So they do their fingers, and they have these sticky notes all stuck on the meter sticks so that it tells them, because people get, they flinch. Oh, there's Isaac back there. They flinch when it's their turn to do it. So that's why you put these, these Post-it notes, so anybody can do it, and because you're going to get lots of points. So students put together these Post-it notes, and on the Post-it note, it says what their mark is and when they're supposed to be there. So you could just put a big 1, 2, 3, and that way the person that's doing it, as long as they can count to 20, could handle it. So it looks like the first phase, I don't know which group this was, but the first phase is here. The pink represents the second phase, and the blue represents the third phase. So there's an idea for you. Here's Maddie and Murph doing this one. So you can do the 2-finger thing where you hop along. That's fine too. Keep going. This group decided to go for some extra points, and so they each took, like the first, like this person, I figured that is, can't see their hand. This person did the first part, and then the second person took over, and then the third person took over, and that's anything extra gets you some extra points. You can also put a little glam in there. I think that's Faith Hemi that did that. So you got a little dress on there. And so that gives you a little extra too if you dress it up a little bit. We did a boot scooting music here. So this was done with some country and western music. These yahoos, let's see if this comes through. This is last year, of course. And they're going along. And I counted off in the hallway while they tried to do it. They did it by meters. So let's see what else we got. So yeah, you can go in the hall and do it. Well, you can't. I mean, I guess virtual can't. Here's some music, some disco. Okay, so that's the idea. I don't want to show you the whole thing, but and then here's old D. Lee doing it when he was in my class a couple years ago. He did Swan Lake.
Wait. Okay, anytime.
Classed up the place a little bit with Swan Lake. Okay, so you get the idea. That's what I'm talking about. So that is extra, but just extra if you're looking for points. Now, the question is how many points? Well, if you turn in some video, I'm talking to virtual kids. If you're there in class, you can do it in front of me at lunchtime one day. I'll give you all the rest of the week, and then the weekend to turn in any kind of videos. I don't want to keep getting videos all semester, so let's make this a project that ends on Sunday. Just email them to me, and depends on how much effort you put in. If you do go all dressed up and get in a ballet outfit or whatever, and, with a friend, or that's great. And I can give you, for something crazy like that, I can give you like up to 40 points. But typical would be, 15, maybe 20 points if you did just a typical, line it all up. Now, you need to have the Post-it notes, okay? You need to have it set up so I can kind of tell by watching where you are. You'll have 20 Post-it notes. Each one represents a second. If you want to, like I said, if you want to make it 2 seconds each, then you're going to probably have to bump up your velocities as well, okay? All right, because I still got to be able to recognize it. I got to know if you're right. And sometimes you'll turn stuff in, you're wrong, and I give you credit. But because I got to, I don't know what exactly your scales were. So you got to let me know your scales. Show me your graph, show me what you did, show me your work, then show me, make a little production out of it. And then if it's really good, I'll use it next year. I'll show it to the kids. Here's a project that they did. And you can talk to me about this in the project area of Facebook group. That's or virtual. You can talk to me virtual. That's logistics. So that's what is that, unit 4, 5, I think. All right, that's it for today. Tomorrow's a snow day. Tonight we'll do our Zoom for virtual, where we're just talking mostly logistics, and I can kind of lay out the rest of the week for you. So looking forward to that. That's 9 o'clock tonight. Okay. I'll see you later.